She was very involved with nature.
Yeah. And of course, relating to that, her wolf is the forest nymph, but red.
And teleports.
God, that was annoying. I wanted to strangle her so badly after that. Eventually, I
Uh,
found out that what you had to do is just not touch anything, and it'll automatically do it. But I kept figuring I had to go up to her.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, of course, literally, her wolf would have been like a playmate Ginger found,
Yeah.
probably to do things like make crop circles and ruin crops.
She was very mischievous as well.
Yeah, I I think it was her when she found the bullet. She was like, "I wonder if I hit this with something, it'll explode." So that again was the mischievousness, and of course, metaphorically, what'd you get from her wolf?
Metaphorically, I got the menstrual cycle from her wolf because teleporting, and the red obviously
Yeah,
was, metaphorically speaking, the menstrual cycle comes once a month and constantly teleporting around.
yeah. The way I got it was that it did represent like sexual maturity in the form of the menstrual cycle.
Hmm.
Ginger was growing up to be a woman, but she didn't want to. As we said, very boyish. Now, grandmother's house. I think hers was the most interesting. Or one of the most interesting.
Like again, I remember a lot of red
Yeah,
with her,
it was almost everything was red.
and she did have the bag of feathers.
Yeah.
Since I can't seem to remember, for some reason I thought Rose had the bag of feathers, but that was Ginger.
Yeah,
Oops.
because when she goes in, there's a bunch of feathers and the barbed wire. But the one thing I did notice most about grandmother's house is when you're in the room and you go under the bed and you see like
The
army toy, yeah,
soldiers,
the soldiers, the dinosaur, things you would normally find in a boy's room.
boys' room.
Because I mean, hell, I had that dinosaur when I was younger. Actually,
I did. So
exactly.
again,
Though I didn't quite get the meaning of the scarecrow there. That could have just been a reference to that it was in the field of flowers.
um, scarecrows are also, you know, they're representative of boys by they're meant to scare off crows. They're meant to do, and that sometimes, occasionally, farm boys will scare off crows instead of scarecrows.
That works, yeah.
So I don't know.
Well,
I'm
makes
not really
sense.
sure about the scarecrow there.
Well,
That's actually kind of hard to place because
it seems
I
so.
mean it could have again to do with her wanting to get messy and dirty because scarecrows are filled with straw, and when you roll around in a crop, you get straw all over you.
Of
It gets in
course,
your hair and everything.
it is out on a farm, which isn't exactly the cleanest place. So
Yeah.
now, uh, let's see. Yeah, the toys. At the same time, they represent her boyhood, but it could also represent her clinging to her childhood, because she's being forcibly pushed into being a woman,
Yeah.
and she kind of wanna stays as that young child. Because I think she's 13, which is the average age.
The average age, yes. And she's being pushed towards being a woman. She's being pushed away from these things that she likes,
Yeah,
probably by Carmen, Ruby, and Scarlet.
yeah,
They're probably, I don't think there was any imagery of dresses, but they're probably forcing her more into more dress-like clothing.
yeah. I didn't get like there wasn't any symbolism for that I found, but it is kind of like common sense that
Yeah, that
the elder sisters would kind of edge her in, try to help her, but of course she didn't want any of it. Yeah,
trying to help her accept it, but not necessarily in the right ways.
yeah. And of course, her death, literally playing with a new playmate, got caught up in barbed wire. Pretty painful, but
Yeah.
metaphorically, I think the barbed wire could represent being trapped, tied down, lacerated, etc. by womanhood.
Hmm. I agree. It could also represent the bleeding that she's being forced to have.
Yeah, because I'm sure that causes a fair bit of blood, so.
It does.
Alright, that's all the main girls, but
Um,
there's...
I've got Rosal's video up and I can watch room by room right now.
Yeah, perfect.
Right. First room, it's upside down. The ceiling fan's on the floor.
Yeah, that could represent the whole floating imagery. It's upside down
Yep.
type thing. So, I don't know how she can walk straight through it, I don't know.
Yeah. It could also represent, chaos.
Yeah, because I think the fan looked pretty, gruesome.
Yeah. She's going upstairs now.
I don't remember what
Um,
it looks like.
bathtub and bath. Oh, this is the hallway.
Yeah,
This is the school bathroom hallway. Sinks everywhere. I'm not really sure what to make of this because it's just, bathrooms.
yeah. I didn't really get anything from it
Possibly
because...
being out on public display. Again, there's a bird cage. There is a bird cage. I knew there was a bird imagery. Feeling caged by her delusions, possibly.
that could,
Alright, we're in the flooding room. Yeah.
with the horrible, horrible rain.
Then there's like, the room is turned sideways because the table's on the wall and then the bird's on top of the table.
Yeah. Again, that could, floating.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Her room seemed to just be the same thing over and over again. Now this is interesting. The hallway leading up to her spinning room, her final
It's
room.
completely blank, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that was her. I,
completely blank, completely empty.
I did find that interesting. Now that you
Why would it be completely empty?
now that you mention it, it could represent going back to the whole skewed perspective, her own thoughts. She didn't really have any thoughts of her own because she was impressioned by, let's say,
Everyone else.
yeah, let's say religion. And of course, that was just an empty void.
Now that's all the rooms you got on that run.
Yeah, I think there was a couple more, but I don't remember them. I think they were just more of the same imagery.
So hers were really just connect over and over again,
Yeah, like
rather than different things.
most of
The
the other,
bird cage was an interesting one.
yeah, most of the other girls, their rooms kind of varied, but hers was just the same water imagery. And of course,
But there was the bird cage in the blank hallway. And I think that pieces her together just a little bit more.
yeah,
I think we're on the right track with her. Right, so what's next?
the creepy forest nymph demon stalker thing.
Right, the nymph girl.
Yeah, what'd you
Oh,
get out of her?
she seemed to be innocence in general, just innocence. Not really anything else but that. She just was the representation of innocence in the game.
See, I think it's the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I'll explain a bit because there are a few things I want to quickly go over first, but I found that she wasn't benevolent nor malevolent. Like, sure, she takes you to items, takes you to the path, which does seem as friendly and innocent, but the path is a failure to mature. That's what I got out of that. Now, specifically, who she is, I can get to that in a second, but one thing that crossed my mind, and I think someone mentioned it, was that the Forest Nymph could be, or the six girls are just different personalities of the Forest Nymph.
Mm,
Yeah, it's kind of...
I find that one hard to believe because that would just involve multiple personality disorder.
Yeah,
Really, because the girls are all so varied,
that's actually exactly what I have written here. They have...
and the only thing that I could possibly think of being how that could work is different stages. Very young being Robin, then growing
Yeah.
up into Ginger, then going through Rose. It could just be growing up in general
And of course...
through each of the stages, but that wouldn't explain really Scarlet.
Yeah, she was... You'd almost think Scarlet was kind of... Well, going with Scarlet, where she was so motherly, it wouldn't really make sense for her to have to do these duties if she didn't have five other sisters.
Yeah, because I mean, she could, because it could go Robin, Ginger, then Rose, then Carmen, and then she could get to Ruby. After having the accident and stuff.
Or even as Ruby, when she went into peer pressure, she kind of sexualized into Carmen.
That again, that could have been it too.
But to go from Carmen to Scarlet,
That one is one I find very hard to believe unless at the point of being Scarlet she was a mother.
yeah,